All right, welcome back. Let's just dive into the second topic of this day. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN governor, I'm talking about Yemi Cardoso, disclosed that the heart of the forex issues lies in the surge of Nigerians seeking education overseas. In a session at the House of Representatives, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Yemi Cardoso, elucidated on the prevailing economic challenges facing the nation, pointing to the critical issue of foreign exchange instability. Clutching a handout, he detailed the factors contributing to the economic downturn, including the staggering increase in Nigerians pursuing education abroad. According to Governor Cardoso, the heart of the issue lies in the surge of Nigerians seeking education overseas, which has placed immense pressure on the nation's foreign exchange reserves. The exchange rate woes, he explained, are a result of two simultaneous occurrences: a decrease in the supply of US dollars coupled with a surge in demand for the currency. He backed his claims with data from UNESCO and the World Bank, showcasing a substantial rise in the number of Nigerian students seeking education overseas over the past few decades. Still with us, live in the studio, is Mr. Lawale Kudayo, who have been particularly doing an amazing job by helping us analyze these topics. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Lawale. At this point, the statement of Governor Yemi Cardoso of the Central Bank, what do you make of this?
It's not a statement that should come out from the mouth of somebody in that position, CBN.
Why do you think so?
You are telling us the money that is going. You are not telling us the money that is coming in. So investors are not coming in. People are not bringing dollars into
Are investors coming in? We know that a lot of investors have left the country.
A lot
of pharmaceutical companies have left the country.
Okay.
In fact, NAFDAC just said yesterday that half of the pharmaceutical products coming into the country are fake. Doesn't that even tell you that there is more problems than we even know right now?
I will not talk about the issue of whether fake or...
Okay. Now, but looking at
coming in.
No, well, before you talk about what is coming in, let's look at what is going out and what Nigerians are complaining about, are suffering. The naira against the dollar is increasing. He gave us statistics there from a data from UNESCO showing that number of Nigerians have gone abroad, and we also do know that in about 2 years we've had NIS, that's Nigeria Immigration Service, says about 3.6 million Nigerians left Nigeria for foreign countries in the past 2 years. And that in itself was, based on the fact that Nigerians were scared, for the elections, for the outcome of the elections, and were running to safety. After the elections, more Nigerians ran to safety. Now, the naira has been affected by Nigerians seeking PTA to go study abroad and medical tourism. Isn't it laughable that Nigerians who are looking for a better life, some of them don't even want to read anymore, they just want to make money, but now they are compelled to read because they need to earn. They are compelled to go to school, and then they go abroad, and these people are being blamed for the fall of the naira against the dollar. Let's not forget 11 billion, that's the figure that he gave, that has gone into medical tourism. Is it the poor Nigerians looking for a better life that engage in medical tourism?
I was going to say something about that.
Go ahead, please.
I was going to, because he should have, given us a breakdown. How much the political office holders are spending to go abroad. There was a time we'll talk about in here that why are you not going to tourist areas in Nigeria, such as Obudu Cattle Ranch or Yankari Game Reserve, or maybe Badagry Resort, or maybe Oshun Resort? Why are you not going to that? Why are you flying abroad? every now and then, if they want to, any medical thing, they are abroad. Any thought they were abroad, they are abroad. So if let's split it into two. The one that ordinary Nigerians, the masses, are taking out, and the ones the politicians are taking out, because he put them together, because I believe he knows that if he split it, people will, their eyes will pop out, because we don't even know how much our former president spends flying abroad for medical and the present one has started his own. We are not even getting any disclosure, but that is one side of it.
Yeah, well, we also are privy to the information that the National Assembly has spent 57 billion naira on purchasing vehicles from abroad.
Yeah,
that's
so
that in itself.
So that's why I said we should split it into two. If we are looking at the masses, what they are sending abroad, what they are taking abroad, how they are affecting the dollar, and let's look at how the politicians are affecting the dollar, because I know most of them, if not all of them, spend dollars locally here. They spend dollars. Many of these rich men, they spend dollars locally. If they want to give somebody money, it's dollar they will give the person.
Do you think the elections affected this scarcity of the dollar and the power of the dollar? Because we do know that during the elections, a lot of
aspirants of parties.
Some aspirants paid those that they
as much as
mobilized in dollars
to 300 delegates.
Why are we not looking at finding a way to recoup that?
In Nigerian, that's why I keep saying about that constitution. In Nigerian constitution, there are sacred crowds. That is it. We know that it's in the constitution. Falano San analyze it. That is against the constitution. It's illegal for anybody to spend any denomination, any money apart from naira in Nigeria.
Okay.
And then we hear it openly, and then nobody is going after them because they are what? Sacred cows. And in the constitution, I think it is the central bank and the banks that have the constitutional right to deal with currencies, exchange. They are the ones to keep money, send it out. So what is the money doing in the hands of individuals, registering individuals to be trading in money? So the banks should go and shut down, or they should start using it as a store for rice and beans.
Okay, now, sorry. Go ahead.
You know, before now, Nigeria, our average individuals don't even travel abroad. It was due to the strike thing that continue happening in this country. And some of the politicians will come up to make us understand that their children are not even in the country. You understand? That is what actually led to, that is what led to Nigerians to seek, in quote, they seek help in this educational cases abroad. And now Cardoso came out to say that the level of people going out of the country even gave what UNESCO said, 96,000 as of 3 years ago, and maybe more than that now, to be what is also increasing the issue we have in economic crisis we're having in Nigeria. How does this increase in foreign education expenses affect the economy and even the exchange rate in Nigeria?
No, let me before I talk about that, let me bring your mind to something. That we all know that Nigerians over there send money home. And when they come home, they bring dollars, they bring the foreign exchange. We know that money is also trickling in. So the CBN, that's why I said coming from the CBN is something that I do not expect.
But they were of the opinion that $28.65 billion was what was spent
in
3 years on educational expenses.
Let us know the one that came in.
Tell us about the one that came in.
We know that every now and then Nigerians send money to their people here. They send money. That when they come, they bring money. But we don't know the statistics.
Well, I can tell you that Nigerians abroad are even complaining that they cannot even, because of the frequent calls coming from Nigeria, they know that the suffering is so much and they don't even have the money to send.
Okay, so they told you that.
It's in the dailies.
Okay, in the daily. Me too, I also get my own from the dailies. So what are the dailies? All right. So now, that's why I told people that for us to move forward in this country, we don't need to be seeing this the former colonial masters as enemies. We're supposed to be seeing them as people who have the knowledge, and we need that knowledge. We should be seeing them as people who have what it takes.
How do you mean?
Yes, and we need it from them. Because if you see somebody as an enemy, you want to fight the person, you cannot smile at the person, and you cannot get anything.
Tell us how we need the knowledge from
see, the white man knows that. Look at their schools. Many of the universities, they run those institutions using foreign students. Many of them, they make money more from foreign students than what they give them, what they make inside.
Don't you think it's because the economy is better and the educational system is better? And do you also know, well, I'm sure that you do know that there was a time in Nigeria where foreigners were coming here to school.
And we were making foreign exchange from them too, until the past government.
So are you saying that fixing the sectors, for example, fixing education, will make people stay back home in Nigeria?
Yes, and that's security. It also comes down to the security, because nobody wants to hear that there's insecurity, and you want, even if you have money to dash them.
Like I did say at the beginning, some Nigerians that went abroad to study do not actually want to study. They
use it as an opportunity to get there,
to relocate so they can make a living.
Yes.
Now you do know that if these people are here, they will not be in the universities, they will be in the offices working.
If they have a job.
Oh well.
Now you say that.
In America, like 2 years ago, there was a competition between America and Germany. Germany said that they've reduced their own unemployment rate to about 2%. America said they have reduced their own to less than 5%. In Nigeria, our own is maybe around that 70 to 80%. Look at the margin. It's so astronomical.
But you would agree that trying to do this comparison is almost putting a round peg in a square hole, trying to compare Nigeria and its economy to that of the US and the UK.
We need to compare now. How do you know that you are lacking behind if you don't compare? When you are at school, you know those who scored first in class,
but
and your parents will be comparing. Moses, is that person having two heads?
But
why are you not doing as much as
you? That's when we're in the same class.
That is when you're in the same class. But you know, those people actually, the Westerners actually subjected us, in quotes, to some of the things we're still suffering to today. You know that during colonialism and they are still doing it impartially, or let me not just say yes, neo-colonialism.
You know why?
You have to agree, because that is the thing. I wouldn't want us to start proving it, but all the same.
I will prove my own to you, because I did studies on this very well.
Fine.
To come up with that we are lying to ourselves, and our leaders are lying to us to divide us and keep us from looking at them as the culprit of underdeveloping this Africa. When the British was leaving Nigeria, I'll use that as an example. When the British was leaving Nigeria, you get it, our economy was far better than the Chinese economy. Our economy was one of the few best in the world. In fact, Nigerian money was at a point used as means of trading, not dollar, all over the world. Our money was greater than the dollar up till 1970 something, and they left in 1960. We had money in the reserve, no debt, and they left it for us. Right. They left. They left a working economy, a working society. In the south, we have majorly cocoa, palm oil, kola nut. In the north, they have what? Groundnut. If you see that 5 naira, you don't spend again. Now, do you still have that 5 naira? Yeah. Even that 1 kobo. Go and look at the back. That you see you see the pictures of the Nigerian economy. When Nigerian, even at the back of the 200 naira, the former 200, I don't know, you see the cocoa there. You see rubber, you see pyramids of granules. That is what they left, a working economy for us to carry on. And then the military took over. And then
are you saying we should allow ourselves to be colonized again?
No, I'm not using the word colonize. What I'm saying is, you get it.
No, I don't get it.
Study them.
Okay.
China, do you know America borrowed China, lend China money twice before China grew. The first one they lend them, they could not meet up. They had to lend, I think during the time of Nelson or something, America had to lend them another one before they now shoot up. Do you know that Europe actually and America moved their industry to China before China could grow? But there was a time their industries were here. Do you remember that? There was a time industries were here in which Nigeria was supplying the whole Africa, almost the whole Africa. When South Africa was even suffering, Nigeria was even giving South Africa money.
All right.
Do you remember that apartheid period?
Apartheid period, yes.
So you see now, at a point we were at the peak, and then bad leadership begin to drop us. And instead of us to see the bad leaders as the enemy, they begin to divert our attention to.
Well, the bad leaders are also from the people. They are part of the people. So
then we should be fighting. Then we should begin to look at ourselves and see how we can now revolutionize this society, our thinking, into the level in which we can move forward. Every country, it's not only China. Go and look at when did Canada get their independence? We got our own in 1960. When did Canada get their own? Recently, a few years ago, that King Charles, when he was still prince, went there. He was invited. I think another Caribbean country, was it one Caribbean country, the same. Even Australia, where we are agitating and fighting about. Look at the way, they know that we need to set some things in place before we now say, okay, we are self-reliant.
Talking about setting some things in place.
But we didn't do that. Our leaders then that took independence, they were just interested in ruling. They were not interested in the future. There's supposed to be a plan of the next 200 years, 100 years. What are we going to do? Where are we going to be at social time? We want to be giant of the world. Then what are the things we need to put in place? We are not doing that.
Right
Within
now.
3 months, 3 years, 6 years.
Right now, so are we going to compel? Are we going to compel? Because those that travel abroad for health related issues are majorly the wealthy, and a good crop of them that we talk about
majorly
are
politicians.
the politicians. Mm-hmm. So to make the naira gain against the dollar, what do you suggest we do? Stop them from going abroad?
That's part
The
of the
president just
legislation
came back from a visit. We don't know if it was a medical one,
King
or
Charles,
a relaxation
I've greeted
visit.
King Charles because the other powers of the world are greeting him that he has cancer. They are wishing him well.
The third. Have I greeted him? Have I greeted
Yes.
him? No, I haven't.
Please do.
Why?
Do now. You know why? Because if Biden could do it, and I always forget this guy's name. The
so
Prime Minister of UK could greet him. You get so many other powers in the world. You don't have much power, so you should greet him so that
That's
you
why
can get to that
greet
level.
him. I can't greet him. I'm concerned about the economy of Nigeria. That's why.
But where is he receiving his treatment?
Because the health sector in the UK.
There was a time the king of Saudi was coming to UCH Ibadan for treatment.
So what is the way forward?
The way forward.
I don't want you to sound like Cardoso telling us about 1980 when Nigeria when there was food in Nigeria. Let's talk about the way forward now.
I've said it earlier on. If we are going to talk about the leadership.
Okay.
There are people in the government who actually want to do something, but they are being hampered by one, the constitution, and by two, the constitution who have empowered some politicians to be godfathers, just like Wike tormenting somebody in River State. See, the constitution has given him power to do that. Now, make a legislation. One of it to reduce this problem, if I prevent leaders from traveling abroad, is that resource control. If there's a resource control, do you think governor of Taraba will be flying abroad for treatment when there's no money to do that? You get it? So if you have that, they'll begin to look at in their states and begin to develop, because they know they don't have the means to get out. Then, out of that legislation too, the leadership, if you are a leader, you can't get any medical attention abroad. You must get it from Nigeria. Your children if they are schooling abroad, must be relocated back to Nigeria. They must be in that state or local government where you are a leader.
And that's going to be another kind of, or another legislator you're talking about, legislation you're talking about. Okay.
Because I think they are talking about a constitutional reform now. But by the time you see what they are going to reform, it is something that will favor them further. And they all further impoverish the people. But when you begin to make the proper legislation, everybody will enjoy. If you want to fly abroad, they don't bother to contest. People like maybe Fina, who said maybe she doesn't have enough money, and people begin to look at her, and she know that she cannot fly abroad. She will now begin to see how she can develop the sector.
Oh, but she does have enough money. She just loves Nigeria enough to stay back.
Okay.
Apart from that, you know that's.
I've not seen her pack her own 160 million
Well,
outside.
we don't like to show off.
And okay, she doesn't. Okay, that's why they will not kidnap you, Abi.
But Mr. Lawal, don't you think that actually will be more like infringing of the fundamental human right as the democracy actually permits?
No, that is considered. You know,
we have freedom of movement.
No, it's not freedom of movement. It's a condition for a certain post. For example, let me say you. Okay, let me say you have a bread company. Maybe he has a bread company, and then his name is on the bread company. Then the stars or the people now they now see people who are patronized see that he's not eating that bread. If you are the one patronized, you see that anytime he wants to eat bread, he's always going to buy Fina's bread or Moses bread, and he's not eating his own bread, and he's selling the bread out. What are you going to do next when you see that? Are you not going to begin to? Will you not change that if this man is not eating his bread? Definitely, he's not doing something. He's not doing something right. That's why you must eat what you produce.
Okay.
You must eat what. So if you are a leader, it's a condition. It's either you are a leader. If you don't want to, if you want to fly abroad, if you are, don't bother to own a political post.
But I think that brings us back to constitution, because right now Nigeria is not a producing nation.
Even when this I think Boris Yeltsin of Russia was sick, he was in fact so he was treated in Russia. Why would you fly when you spend money, you make budgets on education, you make budget on health, you make budget on roads, you make budget, and you don't use all these things. You fly anytime you fly abroad. So you are telling us, you are giving us something that is not good, because you know it's not good, so you fly abroad.
Okay.
So there's supposed to be legislation on that. You can't do that. So it will further develop the areas. And then these people who don't have the interest of the people, the country at heart, will not find themselves in political offices, because they cannot stand all those things. So they would rather stay out. While people who are ready to do the right thing will find themselves in power. For example,
don't you think they would have to devise another means to do some of these things that we're presently complaining about?
When the constitution is there and people guide the constitution, you are coming to you want to win a political post, and you want to come and convince me, and you have nothing to say. You come and show me one pack of noodles, or you brought me one yard of Ankara for me to vote for you.
The constitution is still there, and the constitution is still there, and we're seeing some of this political.
If you try it in America, you go to jail. Let me say the president come out and a presidential candidate and is begin to share indomie and money for people. They in fact you will go to jail for it.
Okay, Mr. Lawal, let's get back to what Cardoso said. You know, we have actually said that what he said, he shouldn't even mention it and all that. Now, how can we leverage our human capitals in diaspora, and to foster the economic growth and even this exchange we're talking about?
Resource control. That's the solution. Resource control. In fact, you'll be inviting your people to come and invest in your country. Resource control. People who have gone abroad, have made money, they will come home and say, okay, I want to come to my state and invest. You see them coming back to their state and invest. American is protected by American government anywhere he is in the world. Anywhere he is in the world, because he's sending certain taxes back to his country. So he's protected across the world. If you kill, America will send forces against you because of one person.
I like the fact that you made mention of resource control, but I like us to look at it from a particular point Moses raised earlier about we as a people. One of our colleagues have a podcast that he does, I think, weekly. And in one of his podcasts, he had a gentleman who was one of the former administration's right-hand men.
Yeah.
And he made mention about the fact that some foreign companies wanted to invest in Nigeria. And somehow they spoke to one of the ministers, and the minister was asking what was in for him. Now, doesn't that spell out a lot that even our politicians can still find a way around it? You were making mention of the Constitution, the resource control, and all of that. Isn't that to tell you and I that there is still a bit of problem within our circle?
See, the system, the Constitution designed the system, or the system, the people did the system designed the Constitution to make it like that. Look at the case of Gbajabi Amila, we were saying some weeks ago. You see, it has died down as if it was not an issue. The one that came on board, in which they were saying he was involved with the
Better education.
They're still looking into
not
it.
even data. I'm talking about Gbajabi Amila.
They're still looking into it.
Okay, they are still looking into it, and the story has almost died out. For how long? If you have information, the moment it's already clear.
You want to do
So why is
proper
EFCC not going after it?
Proper investigation is needed.
Where you already have the evidence, the person who said it is already, or the name is there. You get it. All you have to do is to invite the person, the information, get it, and do further. In fact, it's already clear. By now, it's supposed to have been suspended, pending when it is cleared. They did it to Edu now, but they didn't do it to him. Why? They did it to Edu. She was suspended. Even before investigation, they started investigating. They have already suspended her at that very moment. So why are they not suspending the chief of staff?
What's your take exactly?
The Constitution.
Okay.
Because now you give what's this
Immunity?
immunity to the president, to the governor. The president controls the EFCC control every other thing, plus the police, plus who wants to arrest him. So the president will not allow the EFCC to go out when he's the one controlling him. The president. I mean, he's the one controlling the EFCC. He will not allow the EFCC to come and pick his right man, or he will allow police to investigate his right man. Or who is he going to allow? ICPC. When he's the one controlling all of them, he won't allow them now. So if he doesn't allow them, so what happens?
Let's put out these figures. Figures that talks about the Nigerian economy. We've had 28% inflation rates in the past few years or months. Crashing of the naira from 167 naira to $1 to what we currently have, about 1,500 naira to $1. It's the gaining of the naira against the dollar is like is a scale. It just goes up and down.
Nigeria, naira will gain
So
1 naira.
one
Dollar will
cannot
gain 100
one
naira.
cannot say for sure. We've also had closure of millions of businesses and mass exodus of international companies, pharmaceutical companies being, one of them, and a lot of other companies have left Nigeria, and this has resulted in 41% or more unemployment rates, and we hear that this has become unbearable for families that whose breadwinners have been laid off, and there is the fear that more people will be laid off their jobs. Now, the laying off of people is not just in Nigeria; it's happening around the world. Tech companies are laying people off because AI is making jobs easier for them, and some other companies are having to struggle with paying their staff, and they're also laying off. So that is not peculiar to Nigeria. But the problems that are peculiar to us is insecurity, increasing food security.
Dollar exchange.
Yes, the foreign exchange being an issue. And I don't know how you perceive the meeting between Olayemi Cardoso, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, and the House of Reps. I mean, he was supposed to be on the Senate, but he was at the House of Reps. I mean, I particularly had a problem with the fact that the Senate that called for him since last week were waiting for him to show up. Meanwhile, he was somewhere else. Is it that the National Assembly did not communicate with each other properly? Or shouldn't the National Assembly say, okay, yeah, House of Reps have called this man first, let's get to hear him out, and then later he will come to you? You know, that in itself was troubling to me. But how would you, as you make to wrap up now, how would you rate that delivery of Mr. Cardoso at the
delivery? It's action.
The things he talked about, the measures he laid down as to why the naira is failing against the dollar.
Yeah, that's why I said I did not expect it, something like that from him. You get, for him to try to dissuade Nigerians from what is actually going on by telling us that people are traveling abroad. That is why. What about the politicians who are flying abroad every now and then?
Yeah, he talked about that.
What about those who are spending? That is what you should be talking about. That this is what he says, so that you hit the nail on the head. Not be telling us about ordinary Nigerians who are trying to survive. They are running away because of the same problem that you are refusing to identify. Why? Governance is too expensive.
Would you now say that the president's economic team are clueless?
Yes, I agreed.
No. Are you agreeing or are you saying that?
I'm saying it. I said it earlier on.
Okay.
I said whatever the strategy they are putting on place, they want to do, as long as there's no proper legislation to back it up, it will amount to, it will still be nothing serious.
All right then. This will be a good place to anchor this conversation today. We must thank you, Lawale Kundayo, for staying with us on the program. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll go into some of the parts of the program. Business will be coming up, and then we do hope that your business will thrive as the day progresses, and you'll be able to put an egg on your table at least to get the necessary protein and necessary nutrients that your body needs. We'll be back after a short break. Stay with us.
I thought you asked.